When light shines in darkness, darkness must flee. Trust in divine protection, for it never slumbers nor sleeps. Dear brothers and sisters in faith, have you ever felt the invisible shield of God's protection around you? Today we'll explore the profound ways our Heavenly Father guards His children against those who wish to harm them. Before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. What's the most remarkable moment when you felt God's protection in your life? Share your testimony in the comments below. 1. He exposes hidden dangers before they reach you. God's protective love often works like a spiritual early warning system. Just as a loving parent sees danger before their child does, our Heavenly Father reveals threats before they materialize. Sometimes you'll feel an unexplainable unease about a person or situation. That's often God's Spirit warning you. He might wake you up in the middle of the night to pray, redirect your path, or place a strong conviction in your heart to avoid certain associations. These divine interventions aren't coincidences. They're God's protective mechanisms at work. He might use dreams, like He did with Joseph to protect baby Jesus, or send godly people to warn you, just as Nathan warned David. When God exposes hidden dangers, He's showing you His faithfulness in watching over your life. 2. He creates boundaries that evil cannot cross. Remember the story of Daniel in the lion's den? The lions' mouths were shut not by physical force, but by divine boundaries. Similarly, when people plot against you, God often renders their schemes ineffective by creating circumstances that protect you. These boundaries might manifest as closed doors, changed hearts, or divine interventions that keep harmful people at a distance. 3. He sends divine helpers at critical moments. God's protection often comes through people He strategically places in your life. These divine helpers might appear as a friendly stranger who warns you about danger, a new friend who provides crucial support during difficult times, or even an authority figure who stands up for you when others try to harm you. Think about Esther, who was positioned as queen for such a time as this to protect her people. Similarly, God positions people in your life who become His instruments of protection. These helpers might provide emotional support, practical assistance, or spiritual guidance exactly when you need it most. They're not random encounters, but divine appointments orchestrated by God. 4. He turns enemy attacks into blessings. One of the most remarkable aspects of God's protection is His ability to transform what evil people intend for harm into something beneficial for you. This divine alchemy is a powerful demonstration of His protective love. When others try to destroy your reputation, God might use that situation to elevate you to a better position. When they attempt to isolate you, He might use that season to strengthen your relationship with Him. Consider Joseph's words to his brothers. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. This principle still operates today. Every attack the enemy launches through evil people becomes raw material in God's hands for creating something beautiful in your life. Your setbacks become setups for divine comebacks. 5. He provides supernatural discernment. God equips His children with spiritual discernment to recognize danger before it manifests fully. This isn't just good judgment or intuition. It's a supernatural ability to perceive things beyond natural understanding. You might suddenly understand someone's true intentions or recognize manipulative tactics that others don't see. This discernment acts like spiritual night vision goggles, allowing you to navigate safely through dangerous territories. It helps you identify wolves in sheep's clothing and distinguish between genuine friends and those with hidden agendas. When God grants this discernment, He's essentially giving you a protective tool to guard your heart and life. 6. He strengthens your inner being. Perhaps the most profound way God protects you is by strengthening your inner being. This internal fortification makes you resilient against psychological warfare, emotional manipulation, and spiritual attacks that evil people might launch against you. He develops your character, deepens your faith, and builds your spiritual muscles through challenges. This inner strengthening is like spiritual immunization. It doesn't prevent exposure to evil people, but it makes you stronger in facing them. You'll notice increased peace during storms, unwavering faith during trials, and supernatural courage when confronted by enemies. This inner strength becomes your protective armor, making you increasingly resistant to the schemes of evil people. These are important practical applications in daily life you need to follow. Start each day by acknowledging God's protective presence. Learn to recognize and honor the divine boundaries He sets. Stay connected to godly community for support and protection. Keep a journal of God's protective interventions to build faith. Develop spiritual sensitivity through prayer and Bible study. Practice discernment in relationships and decisions. Trust God's timing, even when protection doesn't look like you expected. Remember, God's protection doesn't always mean the absence of challenges. Sometimes He allows us to face difficulties while protecting us through them rather than from them. His protection might not always be visible to others, but it's always active in the lives of His children. The beauty of divine protection is that it operates on multiple levels simultaneously: physical, emotional, spiritual, and relational. While evil people might scheme against you, they can never outsmart God's protective strategies. He sees the end from the beginning and positions His protection accordingly. In conclusion, God's protection against evil people isn't just a concept. It's a living reality that manifests in practical ways in our daily lives. When you understand these 6 aspects of His protection, you can walk in greater confidence and peace, knowing that you're divinely guarded. Don't forget to share in the comments. What's the most remarkable moment when you felt God's protection in your life? Your testimony might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today to strengthen their faith in God's protective power. Remember, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, not because you're powerful, but because you're protected by the Most High God. Walk in this truth today and always.